Hello, and back again to Game My Movie Recap channel. Today, we're going to tell you the storyline of a movie called Kingdom 2: Far and Away from the year 2022, telling us the continuation of the thrilling journey of Li Shin to become the Great Sky General. And since this is a sequel of the Kingdom movie from 2019, it is highly recommended for you to watch the previous movie in the top right corner to keep you on track of the story, and of course, don't forget to come back here. And if you did watch the first movie already, let's just dive into the video. But before we start, please support our channel by subscribing and click the bell icon for future notifications. Now, let's start. In the year 245 BC, King Yingzheng was still leading the Qing dynasty with Shen and the others by his side. For 10 years, he had been trying to be a good leader so that he could soon realize his dream of uniting all of China. However, the journey ahead was not as easy as he had thought. That night, two assassins came with the intention of killing King Yingzheng. Fortunately, Minister Chang Wenjun knew about this, and he immediately brought some soldiers to protect the king. Unexpectedly, the two assassins were very powerful, and they were able to slaughter several soldiers with ease. Finally, a powerful warrior arrived, who was none other than Li Shin. Li Shin's swordsmanship skills were unquestionable, and he was even able to face the two assassins even though he was alone. One of the dying intruders said that if the Shiyu came, they would all die. King Yingzheng then explained that the Shiyu was a clan known as the Sadness Clan. It was said that a member of this clan could destroy a small country even on their own. Instead of worrying about this threat, the king asked them to focus on investigating who had sent the two intruders. Not long after, a soldier reported that the neighboring kingdom of Wei had just attacked the Qing border. They had successfully captured one of the hilltop territories called Dakin Plain. Hearing this, King Yingzheng sent Shen and the soldiers to join the war. Meanwhile, Diao, the king, and the ministers would wait for them in the palace. With enthusiasm, Shen welcomed the arrival of the villagers who were sent to fight. It was there that he met his two friends from the village, Bi Hei and Bi To. Then there were also two people who joined them, Taku Kei and Kyo Kai. These people were planned to be used as frontline soldiers because the soldiers they currently have are very limited. After getting acquainted, Shen and the others welcomed the arrival of the cavalry from the kingdom led by Commander Bi. Coincidentally, because of the civil war that occurred in the first movie, Shen and Commander Bi had known each other well. It is not surprising that their closeness even surprised people, because how could a slave be so familiar with a military leader? Commander Bi then told Shen that the Wei Kingdom had attacked them with 90,000 soldiers led by a general named General Gokei. From the Qing Kingdom itself, King Yingzheng had sent one of his generals named General Biaogong to lead the war. General Biaogong intends to deploy the forward troops to attack the Wei Kingdom troops in Dakin Plain. Although the step was initially doubted by the other commanders, General Biaogong remained firm in his stance. After a long journey, Shen and the others met with thousands of troops led by Commander Baku Koshin. Next, Commander Baku Koshin will be the one to arrange all the troops to be placed in the first, second, and subsequent rows. According to the commander's orders, Shen and his friends were placed in the front row. Similarly, with the troops from the Wei Kingdom, General Gokei had already sent Commander Gong Yuan and several other troops to hold back the attack. He was quite optimistic considering that the troops sent by the Qing Kingdom were mostly slaves. After hearing the command from Commander Baku Koshin, the war between the two kingdoms officially began. It can be seen that Shen really wanted to show all his abilities by running far ahead of the other troops. He also dared to be the first person to destroy the front line of Wei soldiers so that the troops behind him could break through easily. What Shen did caught the attention of a commander. He even thought that Shen was crazy because he was too enthusiastic in the war. This assumption was then refuted by Shen because he suddenly attacked and killed the commander. Shen's success made the troops even more excited to defeat the Wei forces. Just enjoying a little victory, Shen and the others were surprised by the arrival of the Wei Kingdom's chariot troops. A soldier immediately reported this to General Biaogong, but the general refused to send help and entrusted the next step to the remaining soldiers. Shen, who was still on the battlefield, also did not expect much help from the general. In the midst of confusion, Qiu Kai suggested that they build a defense fort using the scattered corpses. Thanks to that, they managed to overthrow the chariot troops and defeat them all. The news was then conveyed by Minister Chang Wenjun to King Yingjing. He said that although the first line managed to break down the Wei Kingdom's defense, it had to be paid with the fall of most of their troops on the battlefield. Hearing the report made Giao and King Yingjing quite worried because they did not know if Shen was still alive or not. In the evening, Shen and some troops continued their journey. They planned to continue to advance to the Wei Kingdom headquarters in Dakin Plain. While they were hiding behind the rocks, Shen and his troops began to become careless, so they were finally discovered by the Wei forces. Because of this, Shen asked the other troops to go first, because he knew that some of his troops were injured. As a result, after the departure of his troops, Shen had to face all the Wei forces alone. Although Shen had extraordinary sword skills, he was still overwhelmed if he had to face them all. Fortunately, Qiu Kai suddenly appeared and helped Shen, because she actually did not go with the other group. However, both Qiu Kai and Shen eventually felt tired, so they chose to jump off the cliff and escape from there. After the battle, it was revealed that Qiu Kai was actually a woman. She hid her identity and her beautiful face with the appearance of a swordsman. Shen then asked how a woman could join the battlefield. Qiu Kai replied that she joined the war to avenge the death of her older sister, Qiu Shou. From the gaze and skills that Qiu Kai possessed, Shen spontaneously mentioned the Shiyu clan, and this made Qiu Kai very surprised. Indeed, Qiu Kai was one of the members of the Shiyu clan, who was rumored to have extraordinary sword skills. Her sister, Qiu Shou, was known to have died after taking the final exam in the Shiyu clan. Meanwhile, Qiu Kai was intentionally drugged by her sister so that she would not have to take the exam. As a result of the exam, all members of the Shiyu clan were eventually killed, including Qiu Shou. However, Qiu Kai believes that her sister did not die in the final exam, but was killed by her enemies from the Wei Kingdom. As a result, Qiu Kai was forced to participate in the war so that she could take revenge on the Wei Kingdom. The next day, Shen and Qiu Kai rejoined their friends. From behind the cliff, they saw thousands of Wei troops attacking Qing troops. Shen then planned to go to the top of the Dakin Plain because that is where the Wei Kingdom's general headquarters was located. So, when the battle took place at the foot of the hill, Shen and his friends actually circled around another path to the top of the Dakin Plain. The courage of Shen and his friends made General Biaogong feel satisfied because they would be the opening path for other troops to start the next attack. Commander Baku Koshin and his troops then began to move to attack the Wei troops while also helping Shen and the others on the top of the hill. Thanks to the help, Shen and his friends finally managed to get past the 2,000 guards. Then, Commander Baku Koshin invited Shen to join a few troops in attacking Commander Gong Yuan. While Shen was going, he finally handed over the leadership of the troops to Qiu Kai. In short, Shen and Commander Baku Koshin's group finally reached the top of the hill. At that time, Commander Gong Yuan ordered the archers to attack all Qing troops. Some troops were eventually killed in the attack, but Shen, who was very skilled with his sword, was able to easily deflect every arrow that was directed at him. Meanwhile, Commander Baku Koshin, who had been shot by arrows several times, still tried to hold on. With his body covered in arrows, he approached Commander Gong Yuan. At that time, Commander Gong Yuan could easily stab Commander Baku Koshin, but he did not expect that Commander Baku Koshin had prepared a dagger to kill him. After the stab, the commander then shouted victory for the Qing Kingdom. This made the Wei troops feel afraid, and they eventually retreated from the battle. After Commander Baku Koshin died, Qiu Kai and her friends went up the hill and met Shen. They were briefly happy because the war was over. However, it turned out that General Gokei was waiting behind the hill with tens of thousands of his troops. Not long after, General Wang Qi came up to Shen and his friends. He said that the war would never end until the two generals from the two kingdoms dueled each other. Hearing this, Shin did not want to miss the precious moment to see the duel. He borrowed a horse from General Wang Chi's troops and went down with General Biaogong's group. In short, the duel between the two generals finally began. They both rode their horses towards each other until General Biaogong finally killed General Gokei with a single slash. Thanks to this, the Qin Kingdom was declared the winner in the war against the Wei Kingdom. The end of the war was also the end of Shin and Kyokai's meeting. They said goodbye to each other and hoped to meet again on the next battlefield. After that, Shin returned to the kingdom and met with King Yingjing and Diao. The three of them would then return to strategize so that they could fulfill all of their hopes one by one. The film ends with the arrival of Chancellor Lu Buwei in the Qin Kingdom. Lu Buwei, who had just returned from a royal visit, began to question the two intruders who attacked King Yingjing. King Yingjing then ordered Lu Buwei to investigate who the culprit was, even though the real culprit might be Lu Buwei himself. In the mid-credit scene, Shin was seen accompanied by someone to the place of one of the great sky generals, where Shin plans to train there. And the movie finally ends. What do you think of the movie? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like and support the channel by subscribing and click the bell icon so that you won't miss our future recaps. And if you have any movie you want us to recap, please do tell us in the comments section as well. And until next time.